Hey, vegan cyclists, all right, so we're talking winners, losers of stage 5 and 6. Stage 5 was 160 kilometers, that's 99 miles. They did 2,300 feet of climbing, that's 7,700 feet of climbing, 42.6 kilometers an hour average, 26 miles an hour average. And there was 2 category climbs, a Cat 3 and a Cat 1. Now this was the first real test for the climbers. This was gonna be kind of your real shakeup of the GC. We were gonna see if Quintana had anything in his legs after the Giro. What was really interesting about this stage was the breakaway was super strong. I mean, they had world-class talent in that breakaway and they were pushing hard from the gun. Now, I think that Team Sky probably figured, you know, look, at the end of this, most likely we're gonna end up going into yellow, and so don't really need to chase that. We don't need those bonus seconds. But this moves me into my first loser, which is BMC and Richie Porte. BMC and Richie Porte really need to make up time on Chris Froome, so they absolutely crushed the trace. They were single file, man. They were ripping from like 120 kilometers out. These guys put all their chips in to chase back that breakaway so that they could give Richie Porte a chance to win some bonus seconds at the finish. Now that didn't happen, and this is what makes, I think, a big loser for them, is that Richie Porte's gonna need all the help he can get when the stages get later on, right? The climbs get big, and by putting his whole team on the front pretty much all day, I think he wasted a lot of matches from his team to honestly have really nothing to show for it. But I do think it's really cool that they tried, man. They went out and look, that's what racing is about, right? Going out and just putting it all on the line, and who cares? Let's just see what happens. Let's make it exciting. And it was. Loser. The guy who attacks Team Sky while they're Team Skyin', right? What was his name? Lillian Dude, this guy attacks Team Sky like mid-sky-ish when they're just on the front crushing it. Just so embarrassing, right? I mean, I know you're trying to do something, and I don't know, but I don't know if you've done it. I've done it where I've attacked the group and then no one really chases you back. It's just sort of, you just get reabsorbed. It's kind of embarrassing. So, big loser, Quintana. Man, I think that the Giro probably just waxed his legs a little bit too much. I mean, he lost time. He lost a lot of time. And I think he lost a lot of confidence too. So now, without his main dude, Valverde, and losing time on the first climbing stage, which was super steep, so you might say that kind of more lended to him. Ouch, dude. Now, I gotta say though, that 2 years ago, I believe, Chris Froome murdered the first climbing stage, dropped everyone, put like a minute and something on everyone, and then just never was able to repeat that for the rest of the tour. And on the last decisive stage, Quintana and Valverde made a huge break and almost put Froome in a bad situation. Like, he was isolated, he had no legs, he barely clawed his way back, and so it's early, we don't know. But if you're gonna say that anything is a trend, Quintana's not looking great right now. Winner, Alberto Contador. Chris Froome attacked. He put a huge gap on everyone. There was Dan Martin, Richie Porte, Chris Froome, and like 2 other guys, and there was a big split. When they got to the little flat section, Contador was the only one that made the effort to pull them back, and actually brought that little group back. If Contador hadn't done that, Quintana and Contador and anyone else was just about to lose a ton of time. So Contador really taken the race by the horns, man, and I don't know. That was kind of cool to see him make that big effort to try to bring that back. Winner, literally, Fabio Aru. Makes a good attack and just drills it all the way to the finish, putting 23 seconds on everyone else, bumping him up into 3rd overall, which was fantastic. Now, you could say that Fabio Aru is not really a GC contender. And honestly, you would say that he's not a great time trialist, so, you know, he's gonna have to put 2 or 3 minutes into Chris Froome to even have a shot, because he's gonna lose that much time in the final time trial. But here's the thing, is that say something happens to Chris Froome, say that he has a mechanical, or he wrecks, or whatever, it's the tour, stuff happens. Maybe he gets DQ'd for looking down at his power meter too much. Hashtag free Sagan. And so, you know, he is putting himself in a situation where if he's like 2nd or 3rd, he could win the tour if everyone else just doesn't do well. So man, I don't know. You're gonna have to kind of probably start to look at Aru as a potential real threat. Winner, Team Sky and Chris Froome. Again, Team Sky didn't have to do really any work leading up to the last climb. It was all on BMC, so they got to keep their guys fresh. Now they drilled that last climb and they burned through all their dudes, but that's what they do, right? So you're keeping the team fresh. Chris Froome obviously makes a big dig, a lot of confidence building in this, and he puts time pretty much in every one of his rivals. He does get some points at the last finish. He gets a time bonus, and I know he didn't put time into Aru, and we just kind of talked about that. I don't know if Aru's really straight up, like he's not a threat, but again, like if something happens to Froome, but he puts time in Port and Contador and Quintana. Looking good, man. All right, so let's talk stage 6. This was 5 hours 7 minutes, 216 kilometers. It's 134 miles. That's 42.2 miles per hour. That's 26 mile an hour average, with 2,100 meters of climbing. That's 7,000 feet of climbing. Pretty boring stage, honestly, for me. The breakaway did last to the last 2 kilometers, which was kind of exciting, I guess. But yeah, I mean, look, let's talk about the biggest losers here. The losers are the fans. The losers is the tour. The losers are the sprinters. I don't want to beat this dead horse here, right? But by kicking out Sagan, for me, I know I'm a Sagan fanboy, but dude, it's not that interesting to watch anymore, right? And obviously with Cavendish gone too, man, it's just on flat stages like this, there's not a lot to root for without Sagan. I mean, whatever. I mean, I know there's a lot of other great guys and stuff like that, but you know, the fans lose out, the sprinters lose out from that decision. Now, are they going to race very tentative? Are they going to be overcautious because they don't want to get such a harsh DQ or a harsh penalty for bumping and racing? So could we lose maybe some excitement? You know, I don't know. Another loser, Dimension Data. Dude, they put a lot of money and a lot of energy into bringing Cavendish, and it's a definite bummer on what happened. And without Cavendish, on these flat stages, man, you don't really have that much to work for. So, you know, they're at the front, they're working for Bosenhagen, they're trying to do what they can, but dude, I don't know. That's a big loss for them to not have a main sprinter on their team. Loser, Arnaud Démare. Hold up, watch this. Dude, Arnaud Démare, like, comes blasting in off the sides and bumps 2 dudes, goes out of his way to bump these guys. And no one's talking about that? So, I mean, with this decision with Sagan, dude, you're going to start scrutinizing every little thing that anyone does, right? Before this decision, the move that Démare makes through the pack, which is really aggressive and super dangerous in my opinion, but it's like, it's racing, so who cares? You just deal with it, you know what I mean? But now everyone's going to be looking at it. I don't know, man. That's kind of a bummer, but if you're going to do, if the tour is going to say, I'm going to make these decisions based off of endangering others, this move by Démare, I don't know, man, that's kind of endangering others for sure. Big winner, Kittel, absolutely smashes the sprint stage. His team has had a little bit of issues trying to stay together up at the front of the pack, but with Cavendish out and Sagan out, man, Kittel really has, I think, the biggest power. Now, he does have some issues with little kickers and other things like technical kind of issues, you know, but if it's a straight road and it's flat, man, Kittel's got it. And so I think this is going to turn into kind of a pretty cool battle for the green jersey between Démare and Kittel. Now, I think Greipel will eventually get up there, but Démare is on a high right now. I think he's feeling good, and so it's going to probably be a good battle between Kittel and Démare for the rest of these flat stages. Another big loser is that the tour has said they will disqualify Sagan for the rest of every tour, 2018, 2019, 2020, because of this umbrella incident. They said that Sagan has used umbrellas in the past, and so his connection with this umbrella flying through the pack has made their decision clear-cut that they will absolutely revoke his license to ever race again. I know that's kind of dumb, whatever, I'm salty about Sagan. I'm a fanboy. Let me know what you guys think about this series, if I should keep doing it, and if you have your opinions on the tour and what you guys think. I'd love to hear all about that. And as always, guys, Vegan Cyclist. Yeah!